So here we have a triangle given an angle of 60 degrees, and the side opposite the 60-degree angle is 10, and there's another side that's 2. And our goal is to figure out the remaining sides and angles. So since we have an angle with its opposite side right here, it's a prime candidate for law of sines. So remember, we take this 2 at a time. So I'm going to say that the sine of 60 degrees over 10 is equal to the sine of unknown angle B over 2. And that tells us that 2 sine 60 over 10 is equal to the sine of B. Or we could just cross multiply, and we end up at the same place. So I'm going to figure out what 2, not on. So I'm going to figure out what 2 sine of 60 divided by 10 is, and it's that decimal right there. So I'm just going to write this down for reference. So sine of B is equal to 0.1732 ... And that means that B is the sine inverse of that. And I have a little button on my calculator that will help me do that. So I have inverse sine, and I'm going to hit the ANS, which is above the negative key, take the inverse sine of the previous answer, and that turns out to be, I'm just going to call that 10 degrees since it's so close. So that means B is 10 degrees. Now remember, we do have to check for a second solution to make sure that there's not a second triangle out there. And remember that the other solution comes from, well, remember, so if sine of B is equal to this, I found my reference angle, which is 10 degrees, which means the reference angle is 10 degrees over here, which means that corresponds to a whole angle of 170. But since I'm given another angle of 60, 170 can't work. So 10 degrees is the only solution for B, which means we're only going to have one triangle. So then we continue on, and we notice we can find the third angle now because we know 2 of them. The sum of the 3 angles has to be 180. So that means I have 60 and 10 is 70, so this is 110 degrees. And from there, we can find side C. I'm going to continue to use the A information because that was given. So I have very little chance of inaccuracy here. So sine of 60 over 10 is equal to the sine of 110 over C. Cross multiply C sine 60 is equal to 10 sine 110. And that means C is equal to 10 sine 110 over the sine of 60. And we'll round that off to the nearest tenth. 10 sine 110 divided by the sine of 60. And we have 10.9. So that is the unknown side. So if we were to try to draw this triangle, we would see that the sides are 10, 2, and 10.9. And the angles are 60, 10, and 110. Thanks so much for watching.